everyone! In today's video we're working on my Build a City Challenge hood called Oceanside that I've been working on now for about 10 years or so. The original hood was in a very tropical setting on its own little island, but I wanted to change it up, put it on a bigger terrain, just so I could have room for all my Sims and their homes and their businesses. I found this hood, this terrain, a few years ago by Mayo. That's how I'm saying your name. I'm sorry if it's not right. I'll put a link down below where you can download the hood terrain. It comes already decorated with the trees and everything like that, but when I did the hood replacer to put it in place of the original Oceanside terrain, I got rid of all of the trees and all the hood decoration just so I can fill it in all the way I wanted it to be. And I love this hood so much, and I just wanted to try to use it. It has more of a country feel to it, and I was going for more of like a British English countryside look instead of the tropical look that I had before. I might change the name of my BACC maybe to something more fun, but right now I'm calling it New Oceanside because I can't come up with any funny or clever new name to call it. So I started my BACC back in about 2012 or so, and I just really love the Sims that were there and the whole storyline that I created for them. But I kind of just needed a break. And once the hood started growing, I felt really limited in just the little island setting. And I also had a business district that they were gonna go to and maybe a downtown, but I really just wanted to keep all of the businesses and the houses. I just wanted them to grow in the one hood instead of having all these separate hoods. So that was my main reasoning for changing from the regular Oceanside that I had to this new version of it. I've been watching a lot of videos that have to do with the whole cottagecore themes and the British countryside, and I wanted to add more farms to my hood. At the beginning, or right now, I have just the one family called the Good Acres who have a farm and who supply most of the food to the hood, but I really wanted to use more of the sun and moon mods and things that have the different farm animals, the different crops, and things like that. I also wanted to use the whole gardening overhaul that I think it was T. Vicky Sims and Lemaire, if I'm saying your name right too. I'm so sorry if I'm not. I believe they did a whole new gardening overhaul with plants and things like that, and I just really wanted to use those things. So now in the new hood, I have more farms, so I really needed more farmland. I originally started, instead of just redoing my BACC, I was going to make a brand new hood, make brand new Sims, but I realized that I really didn't like the new Sims because I had no attachment to them like I do with the Sims that I have in my BACC. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna come up with some scenario where the Sims are going to move out and find new land for some reason. So my headcanon in this is that there was a vacation island that I called Volcano Island, and it had a huge volcano in the middle of it. And in my head, what happened was the volcano exploded and all the Sims were fearing for their lives, and they left in the pirate ship that was there on Volcano Island. It became refurbished. It wasn't broken down anymore. They were able to get on the pirate ship, and also the tour guide helicopter helped get some of them out. And so they were running around looking for a new place to land, and they found this lush green hood and decided to make a new start yet again at this place. So this hood includes all of the original founders and their children, all of the NPCs that were spawned, as well as all of the Vacation Island locals that I made just for that hood. One of the main reasons why I chose this terrain was because it had all these little areas where I can put all these canals. So that's what you see me doing here. This is some CC from Cricket. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but I'll try to link the CC down below where you can find it. But I really just wanted the canal. I wanted it to feel really cozy, and I wanted to use the waterways, like maybe the residents are using it to go from one place to another. Instead of taking their car, they could just use their little boats. And I especially liked the little mossy detail on the side of the stone. In the video, I'm really just doing some light decorating of the hood. I leave a lot of empty spaces, as you'll see as we go along. That's because I'm planning on putting the businesses and the other houses for the Sims there. So I don't want to fully decorate it yet until I have the actual buildings built, and then I could put, you know, all the trees and whatever else, extra sidewalks or whatever else I plan to put there. So it's not going to be totally complete at the end of this video. It's going to be a work in progress, but I just wanted to record what I had done. I just wanted to put a little bit of decorating there, so when I go to start building all the lots, it doesn't look so empty and just endless void without trees and anything else. I'm also separating the hood because there's two distinct areas. So one side, because of where the river kind of cuts the terrain in two. So one side is going to be the farms, and then the bigger lots, which I'm calling like the estates, and that's where the more wealthy Sims are gonna live. So what I ended up doing was that the original founders, they're all gonna have the big estate houses, and then the other NPCs that come along, the ones that were already featured in my BACC, they're gonna have like bigger houses. They'll have like little, I'm calling them like townhouses, the ones that aren't gonna be on farms, that is. And then the newer NPCs that maybe I have just come in that never had a place to live before now, they're gonna be in little like row houses. So they're gonna be smaller, maybe just 10 by 10 or 10 by 20 lots. But everybody is gonna have a house. There's not gonna be any homeless Sims here. And some of the Sims are gonna be, you know, some of them are just gonna have just cows that they take care of. Some of them are just gonna have the ducks and the chickens and geese and things like that to take care of. Some are just going to fish, you know, things like that. So I'm trying to separate everybody out by what their jobs are going to be in the hood. And then the ones that have more like careers that are like in the science career track or the police career track, law and all that stuff, they're gonna have actual buildings where they're gonna work at. So I'm gonna recreate the police station, but everything's gonna probably be bigger, because before all of my lots were very small, and I like building the small lots, but then when, you know, their own businesses, so when all the customers come in there, they get crowded into one little area and then they get all upset. So I'm gonna try to make things a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna have, you know, the police station, the science labs, the robot factory and all that good stuff. And there will be a prison, because even though I haven't made posts about it, I did do all of spring of year 2, and now starting with this hood, it's going to be summer of year 2. But at the end of spring year 2, some of our residents are going to prison because of the all the fighting that they did, all the laws that they broke. The burglar was caught, and then one of my Sims who just likes to walk into people's houses for no reason without being invited, she's also got arrested. So there will be a prison. There is a prison guard, and there's guard dogs. And hopefully I'm gonna try to rehabilitate them. So like the ones that are just fighting all of the time, I'm gonna try to get their fury down and for them not to hate each other so much, so that they don't just start fighting all the time, because that's really annoying when the Sims are just always fighting, like no matter where they go. But because one of the prisoners is the best friend of the mayor is probably gonna get him out of prison sooner than the rest of the people, you know, because he's Malcolm Landgrab the 10th, and he he wants his friends to be, you know, he doesn't want his friends to be prisoners because that would look bad on him. So we'll see what happens there. I'll also have a church and a woohoo house, because there is a Sim who is getting up there with the woohoos, so they will probably be our woohoo worker for the hood. And I also will have the airfield where the tour guide pilot person will have the helicopters that will take all the Sims all around the island as well. Or sorry, it's not an island anymore, all around the hood. So the lore of the original of the BACC is that we're several years into the future from when The Sims 2 starts. And there's been all these wars where all the supernatural creatures start fighting each other, and then they start fighting against the humans. So in order to escape from all of the wars, Malcolm Landgrab X grabs a few of his favorite people and he leaves and finds this new world. But he hijacks an alien spaceship in order to get all the people there. But the problem was that the spaceship erased everybody's memories. So that's why when they crash land onto the new island that I had. And that's my reasoning or my headcanon for why they don't have memories and they don't have skill points and things like that, is because the alien spaceship wiped all that away when they crash landed. So I started them out in little starter houses, and then they just evolved from there. They grew. I have all my rules up on my website if you want to check that out. But everybody had to do certain things, like in order to start their jobs. Some of them were hobby related. So, you have to max out your music and dance hobby in order to start the musician career. And so in the first, I did a little meet and greet for them before I actually started the BACC. And of course, some of them started hooking up right away. So they quickly, became couples and started having kids and everything like that. They started cheating on each other and all that other stuff. So now most of them are pretty much married or coupled off or whatever. And there's a lot of kids that they had. I do play with ACR. So ACR gives you a lot of kids. So I'm going to have to tune that down a little bit, because I love, one of the things I love about The Sims is them getting together and having the kids, because I like seeing how the genetics play out. And I think that's really unique with Sims 2 as opposed to some of the other games. But to be fair, I've never played the other games. I've never played Sims 3 and I've never played Sims 4. I did play Sims 1, but I never actually played. I just kind of built and made Sims. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make a Build a City challenge was because I wanted to actually play the game, because I've been playing Sims 2 since it came out, but I never really played the game. I would just build and I would decorate the hoods and I would make Sims, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't need to play anything else anymore. I would be on Tumblr and I would see everybody with all these elaborate storylines, and I just thought, I didn't know The Sims could do that. I didn't know The Sims could do that. And I was like, well, that's because you never played the game, Dawn. So I made my own Build a City challenge. It's based on everybody else's Build a City challenge. Like, it's nothing really unique or anything. But I made my own rules for it and then said, you know what, just play the game. And I think that's why I'm so invested in the Oceanside hood, because, all these characters are really unique to, they're not unique to my game, but I feel like they're unique to my game. They're unique to my hood because I made them that way. So I know in previous videos, I have the whole Sim City that I was working on, and I haven't stopped working on that. But again, I just kind of needed a break. There's a lot, and I'm kind of silly for thinking I could take on all of that, all the different hoods put together, because there are a lot of Sims and there's a lot of houses and everything like that. But I always like to come back to my BACC, my Oceanside, just because I just really like it. And to be honest, I don't like playing with the pre-mades as much. Like, I like the pre-mades, I like the idea of the pre-mades, but I feel like it's kind of just the same storyline over and over again, and I changed it. Like, I brought Bella back, and Cassandra never married Dawn, and Bella and Cassandra are like witches and they're doing mean things to everybody. And Mortimer, instead of marrying Dina, he just is married to the clone of Bella that is in Strangetown, that he was the one who created the clone Bella. He's trying to pass her off as the new, as actual Bella, and Alexander's like, no, that's not my mom. So I did try to change it and make it a little bit different, but I don't know. You can only go so far with Sims that already have their own built-in storyline and their own backstory, their own lore. So that's why I kind of like going back to the Sims that I've created. And my playstyle is a little bit different than some of the Simmers that I've been watching like on YouTube and stuff lately. I know a lot of people do one space, and a lot of people, you know, that's the main thing is trying to do whatever the Sims want. And I feel like I'm a little bit gangster in that I have an idea of what I want the Sims to do, and I will take their wants into consideration. But, you know, if I want you to get this promotion so that I can open up something else in, you know, another, like if I want to open up like the downtown or something like that, and so you need to be at level 10 in your job, and you don't want to study, or you don't want to work on your charisma skill, or whatever you need to do, like I don't really care. I'm gonna make you work in that skill, because that's, you know, you need to do what you got to do, you know. The Sims are kind of like children, where, you know, if you just let the children do whatever they want to do, then nothing gets done, and we have anarchy, and everything is chaos. So, you know, I do force them to do the stuff they don't want to do, and I don't really care if they whine and complain or whatever. But I will to be fair, like a lot of the stuff I want them to do is just, you know, get married. I kind of want my Sims to just be happy and have someone that they love, have kids maybe, you know, and that's about it. Here I'm beginning to add some of the effects to the neighborhood, the flying geese and the swans in the lake, also some of the boats. And I might add gondolas. I don't think I do add gondolas though. Again, the inspiration for this hood is the UK countryside, and I've never actually been to the UK. So this is just my idea of what I think it would look like. I have been watching some videos, especially Devin Bumpkin, who is a Sims 4 content creator on YouTube. I love his buildings and the way he decorates and everything. He is British, so everything he does, or mostly everything that he does, has to do with British buildings. And so he's been a huge inspiration for almost all of this hood. And I've been looking at some travel videos of the Cotswolds just to get an idea of what the countryside actually looks like. But this is kind of my interpretation of it, because again, I don't really know exactly what it looks like. I've been playing like Hogwarts Legacy and just from the Harry Potter movies and things like that, just to see how I would want this to look. So my version is more of a fairy tale storybook ideal of what I think the British countryside should look like, as opposed to the actual British countryside. And again, I watch a lot of Sims 4 videos, building videos, and I really liked the cottage living expansion pack or stuff pack or whatever it's called. And I liked the whole Henford on Bagley look. So that's kind of, I'm leaning more towards that, because to me that looks more storybook, fairy tale, countryside. And I have to say, I got a little sucked into the whole Sims 4 to Sims 2 conversions. Like I have almost all of them now that have possibly been converted, just because I started with watching the videos and thinking, oh, I really like that, and I would like that for my game, and I would like that for my game and everything. And so I started downloading all the conversions, and then just for cottage living at first, just for like my farms, and then there's just more and more. So I totally redid my downloads folder, which took a lot longer than I thought it would have. But it's mostly all 42 conversions. And I know in the past I have said that I didn't really like the 42 conversions because it looks a little cartoony, and it does compared to regular Sims 2 content. But if you end up putting more of the 42 conversions, and even like I've changed even my hair, the hair for the Sims is now the clay hairs. So if you change like everything to look more like that, then it actually blends in really well. And to be honest, I think the Sims 2 characters with the Sims 4 conversions really mesh really well, and I think it actually looks really, really good, which is crazy, I know, but it does. It ends up looking really nice. One of the first things I did was I put down an icy ocean layer to make it seem like it's, because I wanted the the weather atmosphere of the hood to be kind of cold. Maybe it rains a lot all the time. So I wanted it to be more an ice kind of ocean. And then for the hood skybox, I'm using Cricket's skybox that I believe came with his Feverfew neighborhood, and that one was made more specifically for that neighborhood, but it works so well, especially since my default replacement now for the lush terrain is the same color green. So I was having a hard time I have a lot of the skyboxes and the neighborhood boxes, but I couldn't really find one that matched the same color green as Cricket's lush replacement. And this one matches perfectly. And then I used another skybox that is just the clouds, and it's also more of a gray tone, just to give the whole neighborhood, make it have more of a gloomy, it always rains here kind of atmosphere, which is completely different than my old hood, which I did mainly very sunny, very tropical. I even got rid of like all my palm trees and things like that, and I understand that palm trees grow like all around the world, but I wanted to keep it looking less tropical in this hood than my previous hood. I also wanted to give this hood more of a old-timey, vintage, old world kind of a feel to it, so I'm not using a lot of super modern looking things. I did do a car default replacement for all the cars that are spinning around, and it's also by Cricket, and they're cars that look more like they are vintage cars from maybe the 70s or 80s. Zipping around, and the hot air balloon and the blimp are all, I believe they're ones that are supposed to be for like Magic Town, from like Sims 1 Magic Town, to have that look to them. So nothing looks like it's brand new necessarily. It's more of just even though it's supposed to be in the current times, it's more of just a whimsical feel, at least I thought. And I end up adding a train on the top of the viaduct, just because, I don't know, I thought it would look really cute for some reason. It doesn't exactly match up, but I got it as close as I possibly could. And I just like to see the train whipping by on the viaduct, even though it really doesn't make sense. I do plan on having some kind of train station here. I don't know where exactly I'm gonna put it, because I end up putting a bunch of rocks and mountains in between the viaduct or at the end of the viaduct, so it doesn't look so weird that the train is just going off to nothing. But I might end up moving some of those and pushing a train station somewhere back there. I do have a sim that I think would be perfect to be like a train conductor or to own the train station. He's a tinkering sim, and I just thought maybe it'd be cool that he would be in charge of that, or he would own it. And then maybe also I would put the little train, what is that little hobby table, the tinkering table where it's like a train going around like the land or whatever. So that might be much, much later, but that's also in my thoughts. So that's why I wanted to put like a train somewhere on the hood, even if it just goes to nowhere. To add some lore to the new hood, I decided to add these castle ruins decorations, and I was thinking maybe it would just add to the mystery of the island, like who used to live here, what kingdom used to be here. But in my head, of course, it's going to be like an old fairy castle, and so the king and the queen of the fairies used to live there, and who knows where they are now, but maybe they are hiding somewhere deep inside or deep within the new area. Maybe they live in the forest, they're hiding out in the forest, or they're in caves or something, I have no idea. Or maybe they found a new place to live. But I was also thinking of maybe adding this as a actual lot that the Sims can come and visit, just to check out and maybe loot around for stuff, dig around to find artifacts and things like that. I thought that might be kind of fun. I'm also adding windmills on the road leading out of the hood to whatever neighboring hood is by it. I got the idea from the traveling my husband and I have been doing up to Northern California. There's a lot of, and even Southern California, all the way out to get to Arizona and to Vegas, there are all these windmills that are on the side of the road, and I was really just fascinated by them. I think they're really cool. I've always liked the windmills ever since I was a little kid. So not only does it help with the environment and help with their electricity, they're also going to have these cute windmills that will lead them out to the next hood over. Then I also have a lighthouse here. I like to stick lighthouses in every single hood. I think they're really cute. This lighthouse was, I think it was a 3-to-2 conversion, and I don't remember who made it, What I like to do is stick the actual lighthouse inside of this lighthouse. The lighthouse I'm referring to is the default lighthouse that comes with the game, because it actually has the light that turns around, and the CC version doesn't have a light that turns around. So I just stuck it in there. It's not perfect. It's actually lower than where the lighthouse should be, but I stuck it in there to give the illusion that it still has the light going around, so it could have the full effect of a lighthouse. And I will have someone who lives right by the lighthouse. I'll put a sim there, and I actually have someone in mind, of course, that I want as the lighthouse keeper. So he's gonna live right there next to the lighthouse. I also have the pirates that were on Volcano Island, the vacation island. They will be right next to the lighthouse as well, and the pirate ship will be there in the water. With the pirates, I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to keep them living there. I kind of wanted to have their pirate ship be like an attraction, like it to be a community lot, where maybe even I'll have a restaurant, and then attached to the restaurant is the pirate ship, so people can eat and then go and play on the pirate ship, because that's always fun for the Sims. And so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. But right now, the pirates are actually just right next to the lighthouse there. I also wanted to point out that I put a lot of trees around the water line of the hood, and that was actually something that the original hood, when you download it, the hood is called Dullfield. I don't know if I even ever said that by OSMAO, but the original hood, when you download it, full of all the hood decorations and the trees, it had all the little bushes around by the water line, and I never would think to do that, but it gives it like a little bit of a marsh kind of a feel. So when I was decorating, I also was looking back at the original pictures, and I thought, that's pretty cool. Like, so why don't I just try to do that? So I added back in all of those little bushes around the water line. Also, in the original hood, there's a lot of telephone poles and electrical poles, which again, I would never put because I don't find them very attractive, but I did put them on one side where the farm fields are, on the farm side, as opposed to the more city side of the hood. But I will add more on the city side. Again, I just kind of left the city side more bare, so I can put in the lots that I want to put in there first before I do the full decoration around the lots. And then we've already went past it, but I wanted to point out about the farm field. There's a big lot, and then I added little farm fields around it, and I think I come back to it to put more decorations on it. That lot is specifically for the Good Acres, and the Good Acres were the original farmers in the old Oceanside, and they're still gonna have a farm, but I wanted their farm to stand out from the other farms in the area. So that's why they're going to be kind of isolated, and there's going to be the different farm fields around them to make it seem like they have one huge farm. So they're actually going to have a huge estate like all the other founders have, but they'll have all the little farm fields around it to make them seem more grand than everybody else. And here I'm doing a little bit of I'm adding flowers and the little terrain color underneath the trees, just to give the neighborhood grass, variation in color, so it's not just the same green all over. I like to do this just to make it pretty and just add various color all through the hood. And again, I think it gives the little storybook look to it, more cottagey feeling. I also add these sunflower fields, and I'll probably add more of the fields. There's wheat fields and other ones. I just wanted to wait again until I had the actual lots in place to put all of these down. I think it looks really pretty, and especially when you're driving by the countryside and you just see the full field of the flowers. It looks really nice. Sunflowers are my favorite flower in the whole entire world, so I had to stick some kind of flowers in here. I also add some dirt trails and a little bit of just tchotchkes to put all around the neighborhood. Again, I'm not done working on the neighborhood and adding all the stuff to it, but I just wanted to see what I could do with the dirt roads. These are also by Cricket or Cricket. So when I have more lots in, I'll just add in more dirt roads that go to various places. And I'll probably put more hood decorations, some more castle ruins and things like that. Just need to add those to them. I just want to put the lots in first. And then I realized too that the windmills that I originally put in place were the ones that don't move. And it's very important that the windmills actually move. So I'm replacing the stagnant windmills, for lack of a better term, with the ones that are that actually turn. And then I only added one little canal boat. I need to make docks, and I just didn't feel like doing it right now, but I will add docks and more little canal boats all along the canal. Just for right now, I was just like, no, I'll just leave it alone and see how it looks before I try to put in the whole dock and the boats. And of course, with any hood, I have to put in the water tank because it gives you the flying pig, and I love the flying pig. Every neighborhood needs that flying pig in it. I don't care what kind of neighborhood you make, stick the water tank in so you can have the pig flying around. It's the greatest thing ever. So I think that's it. We're coming to about the end of the video. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about nothing. I have more of the hood after I stop talking after the speed build. But thank you again for watching, and I think I'll be back pretty soon with my first build. I think I'm doing the land grabs estate first. Not too sure which one I want to do first, but I think that's the one I'm gonna do. So just be on the lookout for that. Yeah, I haven't done it. I haven't started it yet, but I do have, like you see in the video, I do have lots plotted for everybody. So I do have the land grabs moved into an empty lot, and I just have to furnish it. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Later.